I'm not a collector. I'm not the kind of person who hangs old posters on my walls, or chases rare records, or shelves 3 rows of Polaroids. But I do have a strange weakness for old equipment, especially cameras. There's something, almost intimate about it. You're holding a device that has seen someone's wedding, their childhood, maybe even the last days of their life. And you'll never know exactly what it remembered. Old cameras don't just store video, they store stories. Even when they're turned off. That Saturday, I went to Long Beach to a flea market. I wouldn't say I was looking for anything in particular, more like I just needed to unwind. A change of scenery. Less laptop, more people and dusty boxes. The heat was sticky, someone was blasting Fleetwood Mac from the speakers in the corner, and the air smelled of French fries and something slightly burnt. People were scurrying around like fish in a fishbowl, going through boxes, haggling over retro jackets, looking for something to call their own. I was just about to leave when I saw her. At first glance, nothing special. JVC, late 90s. It was tired, the case was yellowed, the plastic was scratched, the strap was a little torn. But I knew right away it was working. There's a special gravity to a camera like this. If you've ever shot with one, you can't confuse it. It works, said the salesman, without looking. He was a sunburned man in his 50s, with a baseball cap on the back of his head and eyes like a man who can't remember why he woke up today. Just don't format the card. There's something there, but I haven't looked into it. Just don't touch it. Said it with the intonation one usually uses when advised not to open the last page of a book. Of course I bought it. For $20. Cash. When I got home, the camera was in my backpack, and I spent the whole drive wondering who might have sold it and why. I put it on charge, turned on Spotify, poured myself a coffee, and decided to see what something he had in mind. The camera started up with difficulty, but the screen lit up. Good old-fashioned interface, gray background, cheesy font, buttons that sounded like you were pressing down on styrofoam. There were 2 folders in the menu. One was empty. The other had a single file in it. vid_2024031.mp4. The date was a week ago. My heart beat a little more frequently. I was expecting an archived wedding, a summer house, a pet. But the file was fresh. Either the camera had just been used, or something didn't add up. I pressed play. First, darkness. Deep, thick darkness. Not the screen, not the glitch. It was the absence of light. But the sound worked. There were footsteps. Quiet ones. First one. Then a second. Pop stomp. The sound intensified, as if someone was approaching the microphone, not knowing if it was on. Or if it was. Then there was a hoarse sigh. As if someone didn't want to be heard. Seconds later, a flash. Not digital, not an effect. Just a lamp lit up in the frame. A sharp light. The camera shook slightly with the movement of my hand. Now I could see. A room. Concrete walls. No furniture, no windows. The floor is gray, dirty. Mold in the corners. And in the center, a body. At first I thought the man was asleep. Then I realized he wasn't. He was lying there unnaturally. His arm was twisted at a weird angle, one leg bent, the other outstretched. There was a stain on his shirt. Black, but I knew what it meant. 3 seconds later, a second man appeared in the frame. Face out of focus. The camera was jerking slightly. But I could see he was wearing a hoodie. He stood over the body. He sat down. And he pulled out a knife. Like he was checking to make sure he was done. I turned the camera off. I sat down. I drew up my knees. My hands were shaking. This wasn't a movie. Not YouTube. Not a viral sketch. This was murder. A real one. And it was shot on the very camera I was holding. My first instinct was to throw it all away. Burn it. Forget it. But I pressed play again. I watched it in slow motion. Frame by frame. At the point where the figure turned slightly, I paused. I dimmed the lights. I brought the screen closer. Side lighting. Half a face. And for a moment, I recognized it. No, not the name. The face. I hadn't seen him in 5 years. But it was him. Alan. We were friends in college. Even rented an apartment for a while. Then we had a falling out. I thought he'd moved away. He was complicated. But not a killer. He wasn't then. I couldn't believe it. And I couldn't look away. Now it was personal. I took the flash drive. And for the first time in years, I felt fear again. Because the camera might be old. But the story on it was fresh. And it started right in the palm of my hand. I was up all night. Not because I was afraid someone would come. Maybe that, too. But more because I couldn't get the image out of my head. A half-lit face. A shadow on his cheek. The knife in his hand. And that profile. Those lips. The line of the chin. Alan. The same Alan with whom we'd made taco nights in sophomore year and argued about movies until the wee hours of the morning. The one who once saved my face at a party when I almost made an enemy on the soccer team. The one who disappeared after one scandalous incident that he never admitted to. But it was him. And I didn't know which was worse, if I was wrong, or if I wasn't. I sat on the floor, leaning against the wall, holding the camera like a time bomb. In the morning, it was hard to pretend everything was okay. I went to work. But left after 2 hours. No one noticed. Or pretended to. I sat in the kitchen trying to decide whether to go to the police. But, what would I say? Here's the camera, here's the video. I recognize the man. No, I don't know who died. No, I don't know where it was taken. No, I have no proof it's not fake. Too many no's. And one very loud, yes, I knew this person. With each passing hour, 2 entities fought inside me. One was the one that clung to justice. I thought that if there was a crime, there should be punishment. And the other, the one that said, stay out of it. Because if Alan was guilty, he didn't just disappear for a new life. He disappeared to cover up what he'd done. And if he did it once, he might do it a second time. And maybe the next video folder would be me. By evening, I made up my mind. I found him. Turns out he'd been living in a neighboring county the whole time. He's been quiet. LinkedIn profile's inactive, social media's pretty much empty. I looked up the old number, it was still working. I called it. He answered on the second ring. Yes. I recognized the voice immediately. Rough. More restrained. But it was him. It's Jake, I said. Jake Winters. Pause. Shit, he exhaled. I was hoping you wouldn't find it. I found the camera, Alan. At the flea market. He didn't say anything. Do you know what I'm talking about? You didn't format the card? No. He stopped talking again. And then suddenly, abruptly. Throw it away. Just throw it away. It's not yours. What is this video? It's not yours. Trust me, Jake. You don't want to know. Is that you? I asked you a direct question. 1 second. 2. He exhaled. You just need to forget. Hang up the phone. Burn it. And forget. I saw your face, Alan. Then do what you've never been able to do, step aside. Click. He dropped it. I sat in silence. Stared at the phone. No new calls. No messages. Until tonight. When I returned from the bathroom, there was a flash drive lying on the mat by the door. It was transparent. New. Unsigned. No footprints, no doorbell. Just the flash drive. I didn't open it right away. I locked the door first. Then I closed the windows. Turned off the lights. When I downloaded it, my heart was pounding. The file was called hello_jake.mp4. It's a video of my apartment. It was shot at night. Greenish tint. Camera outside. Street. The sidewalk. I'm in the window. Standing at the glass. Staring into the darkness. I don't know what I was doing at the time, I don't remember if I was looking at anything in particular. But the camera caught the moment. And behind me, in the reflection of the glass, there's another face. Blurred. A shadow. But I knew it wasn't my reflection. A voiceover. You're in business now, Jake. Pick a side. I didn't sleep again that night. I thought the footsteps in the hallway sounded different. That the shadow under the door was moving. And with each passing hour, it became clearer. I hadn't just bought a camera. I had bought someone's story. And now I was in the epilogue. I didn't throw it away. If I had, I wouldn't be me. Instead, I started scouring the internet, archived summaries, blogs, forums for city rumors and criminal cases that hadn't gone to the media. My logic was simple: if what I saw in the video was real, there had to be at least a shred of trace somewhere. Any fragment. I didn't know who was killed. I didn't know where it happened. But I knew the date of the shooting, exactly a week before I bought the camera. And I knew the face on the video. I also knew Alan. And I knew he was good at looking normal. He and I grew up in the same neighborhood. He was the one who was always there when we needed him. He was the one who'd fix things for his friends, fill the girls with stories, deal with the teachers if he had to. But one time, when we were 25, he and I were walking home from a bar. And some guy pushed him in the crowd. Not on purpose. Just casual contact. Alan turned around. And he punched him. Not with his fist. With his forehead. Hard. Hard. Almost like an automatic reflex. The guy went down. Shook. Alan didn't even apologize. He just told me. If you see someone weaker, hit them first. Then you don't have to defend yourself. I just let it go. I told myself, it was just a flash. Now it was coming back. Not as paranoia. It was a logical chain. I wrote him again. First, briefly, we need to talk. Not on the phone. 3 hours later, a reply. Silver Lake Park. Tomorrow. By the lake. Alone. The next morning, I went there. No camera. No flash drive. No notes. Just with myself. He was already waiting. Sitting on the bench. Wearing sunglasses. A paper cup of coffee on his lap. When I approached, he didn't turn around right away. Then he said. You didn't listen. I can't do it, I replied. That's what's going to kill you. I sat down next to him. Is that you on the video? He didn't answer. I said it again. Alan. Is that you? He took off his glasses. He looked forward. Not at me. It's not important. It matters to me, I said. He sighed. It was, out of control. Did you kill someone? I didn't plan to. But I didn't stop. And now, they know. I was waiting for an explanation. But he didn't say anything. Who's they? He turned to me for the first time. You think you just bought a broken camera, don't you? You think it's a coincidence? I didn't answer anything. He continued. There are people. Or organizations. I don't know what the hell they are. They make collections. Collections. Videos. Moments. Human limits. When you do something you can't take back. What, like collectors of misery? No. Collectors of points of no return. He took a sip of coffee. They found me through the camera. Or I found them. Doesn't matter anymore. They're watching. They're watching. And if you see their video, you're in the game. And how do I get out? He shook his head. Nobody gets out. What if I give the camera to the police? Do it. They'll know. They won't kill you. It's not about dying. It's about waking up every night to them watching. He's up. I'm in too deep. You can still, live. For now. Why did you give me that flash drive? Because you're like me now. He's gone. I didn't go home. I went to the detective. I had no choice. The precinct looked like a movie, slightly peeling walls, dim lights, the smell of coffee and reports. Detective Sanders took me in. He looked to be in his late 50s. Graying hair, eyes like someone who's seen everything and believes no one. I put a flash drive and a camera in front of him. He turned it on. He watched in silence. Until the end. Then he said, "Where did you get this?" I told it like it was. No embellishments. He listened. Then he said, "We don't do this kind of thing. Murder without a body is not murder. No victim, no crime. What if it's a fake?" "It's not a fake. You think it is. But we have to prove it." He leaned back in his chair. And then, boy, he leaned forward. "Does anyone already know you saw it?" I didn't answer. He nodded as if that was an answer. "Then you have two choices, burn it all down. Or go all the way. But the people behind it won't like you. Do you know who that is? I know you're not the first person to come in with this. And you're not the first to disappear afterward, physically or mentally. He's up. We'll take it. Do you have copies?" I lied, "No." He looked at me. Like he knew it was a lie. But he nodded. "Good luck, Mr. Winters." "That's it?" "That's it. And maybe one more flash drive under the door." He wasn't smiling. I left. And that same night, I got a text. No name. No avatar. "The next step is yours. We're watching." I knew I shouldn't open that flash drive. It showed up, just like last time, unannounced. In a black envelope, on the doormat. No name. No label. Just a word written in felt-tip pen across the cardboard. Play. I stood over it like it was an explosive device. My hands were shaking. My ears were pounding. But I opened it anyway. Inside was a regular flash drive. Silver, unmarked. Like it had just been bought at the nearest electronics store. I plugged it into my laptop. There's only one file. .mp4. Title, window_02-33. I already knew what 233 meant. The video is of my apartment. The same angle I know so well, the bedroom, the curtains, the open window, the lamp on the nightstand. But the camera is outside. I'm standing at the window. In my pajamas. With a mug. I look forward, straight into the lens. Silently. And then I realized, I don't remember that moment. I don't remember anyone standing outside. I don't remember looking out the window last night. But the camera caught it all. Or, someone wants me to think it did. Down below the video, in the folder, there was a second file. A .txt document. Inside, just one sentence. You are now in the frame. Next move is yours. I dumped everything onto an external copy and immediately pulled the flash drive. Taped up the webcam. I closed the curtains. Sat on the floor, leaned against the wall and just tried to breathe. I had no enemies. I had no debts. I wasn't a spy, I wasn't poking around, I wasn't getting involved in politics. I was just a dude who wanted to play with an old camera. And now I was in the game. The next day, I went to see Detective Sanders again. He met me with a hard stare. They've already contacted you, haven't they? I nodded. Showed the flash drive. I showed him the text. He nodded silently. Took it in his hands, twirled it around. That's them. Personnel officers. Who? He sat up, rubbed his face tiredly. That's what they call them in unofficial circles. The people who take the pictures. Keep it. Manipulate. No one has ever seen them live, but they're there. Why? Because while someone is collecting stamps, these ones are collecting human boundaries. Breaking them. Fixing them. And they play on it. I was looking at him. What is this, some kind of underground cult? Not exactly. It's closer to resource psychosis. Small circle. Cameras. Blackmail. Sometimes murder. But it's subtle. No bodies. No hard evidence. They're like a virus. Once you're infected, you're not the same. He slid a mug of coffee over to me. We can't just catch them. Because no one knows who to catch. Do you think Alan's with them? I think he's their first contact. Or one of them. You said he gave you the flash drive? So they picked you. I clenched my fists. I don't want to be a part of this. Sanders nodded. Too late. That night I woke up to a knocking sound. 2:33. I jumped up, ran to the door, no one. But there was another envelope on the floor. Same handwriting. Same paper. Inside was a black and white photograph. My bedroom. I'm asleep. The camera is from the ceiling. On the wall, by my head, in red pen it says, "You will remember." I left. The next morning, no packing. No plans. I just got in my car and drove out of town. Stopped at a motel 200 miles away. Got a room. Changed my SIM card. Created a new email account. Tried to cross myself off. But when I walked into the room, there was a white envelope on the desk. I was waiting. Inside was a flash drive. The file was called hello_again. I didn't open it. I turned off the laptop. I closed the curtains. I lay down. The only question in my head was, how many more frames do you need before they let you go? And probably the right answer is never. I didn't open the flash drive. For hours I just stared at it, like it might be the first to speak. Sometimes it seems that fear isn't screaming or panic. It's silence. When there's silence all around, but you know it's not real. It's faked by someone waiting. On the third day, I couldn't take it anymore. I went back to town. Back to the station. Sanders was there. He looked at me like he looks at people who've already come in for the last time. I put the flash drive on the table. He didn't say anything. He just took it. And added it to the others, signing it neatly with a marker. Subject, Jake. Record 4. You keep records? He nodded. Everyone who comes in. So there's something to look for later. Memory, at least. I didn't ask what was on the previous 3 flash drives. I wasn't ready. At home, I changed my number again. Deleted all social media. Threw away the old cell phone. Bought a dumb one, calls only. The first night went silent. Second night, no sound. I started thinking maybe it was the end. Maybe they were just checking. Third night, 2:33. Call. New number. New operator. New machine. And still a call. I didn't answer. But 10 seconds later, a second one. The screen said, unknown. I pressed the accept button. Silence. Then a breath. And that was it. The connection went dead. I sat on the floor, the phone in my hand, my chest an icy crater. In the morning, I drove to Alan's house. He lived in a trailer on the border of the state. I remembered how to get there. He opened the door quickly. Like he'd been waiting. They're with you, aren't they? He asked me right away. What's all this, Alan? Why did you drag me into this? He averted his eyes. Because I couldn't be a host anymore. They needed someone else. Someone who's, more interesting. Was that the transmission? He nodded silently. I was just being a courier. You know. I didn't mean to do it. Just wanted to get out. The only way out was to put someone else in. I should have hit him. Scream. But I just sat on the steps. What now? Now you're gonna be like me. Until you find someone else to take it out on. And if I don't want to? He shrugged. Then they'll be around. Always. Watching. Listening. Waiting. I came home. There was no point in moving. I could hide indefinitely. But that didn't stop them from coming to me every night. On the 4th, I got another call. I didn't answer it. But at 3 o'clock, there was a knock on the window. I went out into the living room. No one was there. But there's a picture on the glass. It's fresh. Polaroid. It's of me. I'm sitting in the kitchen. I'm looking at my phone. There's a shadow behind me. There's a note next to it. You chose to listen. Now listen until the end. On the 5th day, I came back to the station. Sanders met me at the door. You again. I got another flash drive. He gloomed. You know we can't help you. Then at least take it. So that someone will know. So that after me, there's a story to tell. He took it. Nodded. Signed, subject, Jake. Record 5. You know, he said, most people don't make it to the 4th. I didn't know what to say to that. It's been a month. I live in a small apartment. No windows to the street. No camera equipment. No phone calls. No social media. Every night, same ritual. Shutters closed. Disconnected cell phone. Flash drive on the shelf. But every week, a new one appears. No name. No label. Just an inscription. Look. I don't open them. I just add them to the collection. I number them. Signing them. Last week I started doing something I promised I wouldn't do. I found a forum. Anonymous. Closed. The topic is, people being filmed. I posted a description. No names. No video. The next day, I get an email. No sender. Inside, just. Welcome to the archive. You are now a watcher. I'm sitting in front of the screen. There are 8 flash drives on the shelf. There's a 9th on the table. Next to it is a note. When you stare long enough, someone starts staring back. I don't know if I'll open the next one. But I do know this. I'm already a character. Not just a viewer.